You may have come across so many videos about the green and red flags that women tend to have. And of course, finding the right partner is one of the most important choices you will ever make in your life. Why? Simple. Because a woman can either make your world or totally shatter it into pieces. Trying to find good qualities in the opposite sex is all well and good, but have you ever stopped to think about what kind of man the women around you see when they look at you? It's easy for a lot of us men to think that all the problems with modern dating are caused solely by female toxicity. Although that does have a lot of truth to that, but not entirely. Asking yourself how women view you is equally important. In fact, before you even go out to look for the red flags in others, have you stopped to look at the red flags within yourself that must be changed? The Bible says, don't try to remove a plank from someone's eyes if you have it in yourself as well. Otherwise, all you become is a hypocrite, not a high-value wise man. So start by focusing on your own red flags in order to change and develop them into healthy masculine traits that high-value women can see as green flags. Remember, young brother, in order to attract the right kind of woman, you must be the right kind of man, period. With that said, let's discuss the 5 green flags in men that attract the right kind of woman. Pay attention to the extra word right. You could attract so many types of girls in your life, but only the 1% of men can attract the right type. Green flag number 1, emotional control. Control over your emotions radiates masculine energy. In fact, take a look at any birth control ad where the kids throw a tantrum. The whole theme of that product is based on one element: lack of emotional control. When you lack emotional control as a child, it can put off strangers and even your own parents, let alone when you decide to throw a tantrum as a full-grown man. It's one of the main traits that every man should have, and yet so many men lack this completely, which is one of the biggest reasons why all of them struggle with finding decent partners. Even if you do end up finding the right girl, but you lack emotional control, then guess what happens? She will lose all respect for you as time goes on. She will start to find excuses to not follow your lead because you have proven yourself as an incompetent leader who let circumstances dictate his behavior. Now, listen carefully to what I'm about to say. This specific ability goes far deeper than you can think. Instability, poor life choices, inability to function properly, and a lack of good mental health will become your new norm. Set for yourself a set of rules. For example, the next time someone gets you angry, force yourself to stay calm in that high-pressured situation. Swallow up the heat like it never happened, almost as if you were watching a drama scene that you have no connection to whatsoever. The more you practice this, the less you'll depend on your emotions. Green flag number 2, be the good kind of dominant. Women nowadays struggle a lot in their dating life because no man seems to be able to dominate them the correct way. When you think of dominant, the first thing that comes to your mind is almost always violence, evil, and abuse. But learn to differentiate between the right and wrong type of dominance. If you ask a woman what she looks for in a man, she might say, "Oh, I want someone who is kind, caring, someone who has a good heart." And most men end up buying straight into this trap, only to end up becoming as submissive as possible. And that's the main reason why society is filled with simps and weak men. And here's the funny part. As soon as the simp lets his girl on a so-called girls trip, guess where she's running to? Straight into the arms of a more dominant figure. Now, don't get me wrong. This doesn't mean you shouldn't have a kind heart or be kind. But also, don't remove your masculine dominance out of the attraction equation. This is why they say you should ask the fisherman how to catch fish, not the fish itself. In order to dominate her in the right way, you've got to be her leader, not her boss, period. Most men that try to come across as dominant only come across as a fake alpha male who's trying to boss his woman around. This creates a dynamic that's less than desirable. Women secretly love to be dominated by a powerful masculine man, and the best way to do so is to become the man that she desires. Start off by taking lead in the smallest of things, like going out or getting together for a social event. Take the lead in the type of food you eat, timing, and so on. But this is where most men go wrong. They think that taking the lead means to say no to everything that a girl wants. Once again, doing this will turn you into a tyrant boss, not a leader. A leader listens to the opinion, and if he finds the opinion trustworthy, then there's no harm in going with the suggestion. This will show the women around you that you are indeed capable of taking control of the situation without aggressively attacking anyone who disagrees with you, or worse, being crushed by other leading men. Green flag number 3, ambition. The thing that sets low-quality men apart from the top 1% is ambition. There's one phrase that is so evil and powerful that it has caused so many men to fall out of touch with their ambition. Want to hear the phrase? Here. My woman loves me unconditionally. How many men have you seen in love that say something along the lines of this phrase? They get so gobbled up in their feelings that they believe that any and everything they do will somehow turn their woman on. That's one of the weakest mentalities you can possess as a rational man. And so, these men skip one day of working towards their ambition. These days turn into months, months into years. And before they know it, guess who's taking the lead in the relationship now? It's not them. Guess how their women reacts to their opinions now? With complete disgust. A woman will always go for the guy who dreams of becoming a rich entrepreneur and actually works every day achieving that goal, compared to the undisciplined bum. Would you call that unconditional love? Most definitely not. The only one who can love you unconditionally is God. Not even your parents love you unconditionally. In fact, take a look at many Eastern families that kick their own children out of the home because they get bad marks on an exam. Remember, young brother, this world is a nasty, unfair, ruthless place. It pays no regard to the undisciplined man. Only the one that has ambition and actually works towards it will earn something of value. Green flag number 4, giving and taking respect. Face it, Most men nowadays are often not respectful towards anyone. They don't respect their peers, their parents, their partners, and even themselves. Acting like wannabe gangsters is their way of being the alpha guy. If that is you, then take note of this, brother. You are not doing yourself any favors. If you like to straight up disrespect others and run a foul mouth, then the only types of women you will attract also run on your same frequency. They too will be ones that are tattooed all over their bodies like a canvas of the Matrix, run a foul mouth, and pay no attention to hygiene or morals. There is no femininity in those women. And then you will wonder, why can't I ever find a good woman? And then you will start to say phrases like, I knew it. There's no good girl to marry anymore. These guys will never be able to attract a proper woman for themselves because they lacked this fundamental of male life. When you respect others and treat them the way they should be treated, you'll magically become a lot more likable and attractive to feminine women. And finally, green flag number 5, purity. This is probably the most controversial of the bunch, but when a man finally manages to achieve attraction from women, the first thing he'll do is throw himself onto the bountiful of sexual resources available. To high-value women, this is an instant turnoff. Much like with us men, a high body count in a woman will trigger disgust in her heart. Because remember, females are biologically programmed to find a man that will protect her and help her build a long-term family. She can't achieve that with a man who has a high body count. Why? Simple. Because the man is more likely to leave her as soon as he has spent the night with her. It's like a piece of tape. If you stick it onto something, then peel it off, then stick it back on and peel it off again, it will lose all of its stickiness. No matter how good that tape is, it will never be able to stay stuck with something for more than a few hours or days at best. The moment that tape rubs up against something else, it will fall off quickly because it has lost that stickiness. Same with men and women that have a high body count. So stop giving yourself up to the temptation of sin and wait until you find the person you actually want to bond with. As I said, this is a point that many of you will hate because you most definitely want to give into your temptations and look for any excuse to do so. But keep yourself pure, young brother. Focus on this one point alone, and you will note that all of the green flags return perfectly to your life. To see the next best way to level up as a man, check these videos here.